All right, well, I'm here with Pat Owens. Pat and I met through gigs or through open mics at the Yellow Barn. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Good to
Really
see you.
appreciate it, Pat.
Thanks for having me in.
So, one of the things I think people don't always think about is what you do other than music. So, what do you do other than music?
Well, I started this. Well, I'm 48 now, but I started when I was 21, and I was weekend warrior. I had a day job at a bank, and I was just playing on the weekends for beer money and having fun, and did that for about 12 years. And then I lost my job at the bank, and I thought, okay, I'll pick up another day job. I'll play a little music to tide me over. And then before I knew it, I played music full time for another 12 years. And so it was just the last 2 years where I started working part time during the day again, and I started scaling back some gigs. So I was gigging 5 to 7 times a week, and it was just a lot. I've done thousands, of shows doing that for years, and so it feels good to scale it back. Now I just play about 10 gigs a month or so.
So it's been a large part of your life.
And it really was not the plan. It was never the plan. It just kind of took over, and before I knew it, the ball was rolling. I was doing it full time. So.
All right. Well, I'm like I've said in my videos, I'm sort of starting at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take you there. Did you grow up in a musical family, or was it a musical environment?
So
where you live?
Not my parents so much, but my parents encouraged music. I have 2 older brothers. My oldest brother, Larry, really took to music and taught me guitar. He's 10 years older than I am. The middle brother is Chris, and he never got into it. Took banjo lessons, I think, for a couple weeks, and that when he was a kid, and that was it. He never took off with it. So as I got older, when I got around 10 or 12 years old, he started teaching me guitar, piano, and then I played drums for a church contemporary music group when I was a kid. I was strictly percussion from the time I was maybe 13 to 20. And then it was actually high school buddies that knew I played guitar and said, hey, we got you a gig at this little dive bar when I was 21. Hey, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I had to figure it all out. I never played a gig before or anything like that. And so that was it. That's how I started with it.
Did the experience in percussion help you out?
I think so. And it was, guitar was always kind of on the back burner, but I realized quickly if I was going to sing in a restaurant or something, can't play a 4-hour drum solo or something, and it's a lot more gear to haul around and things like that. So it just seemed to make more sense to kind of play guitar and sing and do that. So, and then I never looked back. Now I rarely touch percussion. It's so hard. It's not like riding a bike. I mean, I can't sit at the kit now and just start rattling off anymore because I never do it. So.
Okay, so you were sort of directed towards gigs. That's not that easy to come by now, as far as finding places to play. You have to go about that at all?
It's harder even now than 25 years ago, I think. I think it's so hard to find gigs. There's so many talented musicians in this area.
Sure.
And Baltimore specifically is, I think, a really underrated area for music because you get dock bars, city bars, county bars. There's so many places to play. And live music is really embraced. It's almost like Nashville in that regard, or Austin or something, but it doesn't have that kind of big name like those cities have. You wouldn't think live music in Baltimore, but there really is a lot of places to play in this area.
So does your name get you in though? I mean, people know you, or do you sometimes have to?
It's kind of, well, I think the open mics are a huge help for that. And especially I moved up to this area that we're in now 4 years ago. And so I'm exploring more gigs up in York, PA. And I didn't have any following up there, friends, I don't know anybody up there. Everything I played was in Baltimore, so I try to hit those open mics and get exposed that way so the managers can see that gotta know what you're doing on stage, and then they can look at your schedule and say, okay, well, he plays around, he can't be terrible.
Creating a new community.
Yeah, network with all those people. Yep.
I have to ask you this. I understand you drive a bus.
I drive a bus. Yeah, that's my part-time gig.
So
Yeah.
there's part of me wondering if hosting an open mic is anything like doing that.
Managing all the kids on the bus. No, it's much easier. The open mic is much easier than the bus.
All right, just so people know. So, what did you? Now you had people, your brothers and all, to teach you. Did it come to you pretty readily when you were learning?
It did. I think it's probably easier as a kid, right, to pick that up. So I mean, I don't remember struggling too much with learning chords, and I would play like piano too. We had a piano in the house, and the piano, I think, is really where music makes the most sense. And because when you see how chords are shaped with the white and black keys, then it makes more sense on my guitar to do it. I find like that would be difficult to start on guitar and then move to something else. But
yeah, I notice one of the things that I have to watch out for is when I'm transposing, or they've offered a transposition to guitar from piano, they don't always get it in terms of what a guitar can play.
Yeah,
you end up with these sort of odd things. You have to figure something out, and I use the sound of the chord to do that. You find that happens
sometimes I try to like do something yourself with it, hear it out. Other times there's some songs I just stay away from. Because I grew up such a huge Billy Joel fan, and I hardly play any of his songs because I just can't. I don't feel like I always do it justice. I just can't.
Hard.
Come up, sometimes I do, and I'm like, okay, I'm happy with that rendition. And if I was a better guitarist, I would probably be able to do more of it. But it's never been a thing that I've really concentrated on. Like I became over the years a much better rhythm player, but I always had a duo partner, another guy in the band that would do the leads, and so I just never mastered scales and things like that. I do a little bit of it, but not to the extent of some guys in this town.
Well, I know some people can be hard on themselves about just being a rhythm guitarist, but one of the things my own teacher told me, he said, believe it or not, the rhythm helps to hold the band together. Everybody else can play around that if you're good.
It is the glue. I do think it's the glue back there.
Let yourself be there with that.
No, I kind of get what I am. I think in that perspective, like the rhythm has its place, and it is a glue in the band, and really it's such like the basis of like any gig, like any just singer songwriter. It's just like a guy and his guitar and telling a story. That's it. I mean, it's certainly got a place, and then I don't want to, in a band situation, I don't want to overdo it. And I want to find the places where it's right to put that in. I don't want to just be mashing away on it and strumming for no reason. So
to be to let the silence work as well as the music. I understand what you mean about Billy Joel, though. I've been practicing honesty. And
right.
I've probably done it 200 times, and every time I do it, I go, oh, that part I need to work on a little more.
Yeah, you find a new thing that you concentrate on. Yeah.
But the chords are perfect. That's the thing. Is I found that people often try to fudge chords, and really there is the chord in a lot of places where.
Especially with him.
Yeah.
He adds the little nuances in each chord, and that makes the song different than GDC.
Right. No 1-4-5.
Yeah. There's so much to it.
So you say Billy Joel was important to you in terms of who you listened to.
Yeah.
Anybody else that you can think of that?
Oh yeah. We had a record player growing up in the house, and so I guess maybe my older brother had Billy Joel, and I remember being a kid and putting the headphones on and listening to "She's Got Away." He has a song called "She's Got Away," and that was really that moment. I was too young to probably know the theme of the song. Right. I just knew it was like a guy and a piano. It's not a band. It's not a production. It's just a guy singing a beautiful melody to a beautiful chord structure. And then I started exploring other bands, but it was really then Garth Brooks that got me. The first time I heard Two of a Kind working on a Full House came on the radio, I think, and I remember asking my mom, like, what is this guy? Who is this guy? Who's singing? She didn't know. And I did a deep dive and started learning all his stuff off his first album. And that was then something I could really relate to. A guy and a guitar and just singing a beautiful song. You know, like in that, because I was a little after like James Taylor and Dylan and stuff. So I didn't get all that. I grew up in like 90s country madness. You know, everything was 90s country. So like, or like 90s hip hop and to stuff that I didn't like as much. I kind of liked more of a singer-songwriter thing, but then it was kind of post those guys, you know. So Garth is what kind of opened my mind up to that a little bit.
You know, I don't think country always gets the credit it deserves. That there can be more to it.
Sure, you got to find the nuggets, right? Like with Stapleton and stuff. Like still, like some of it is so cookie cutter now, but the nuggets are there. If you're listening, you'll find a great song in that mix and be like, yeah, that's beautiful, you know.
Yeah. So listening on headphones, I know when I've recorded it has helped me, and also when I'm listening to songs, my teacher always said, you'll hear more when you're listening to somebody do a song. Would you say that's true? What do you think?
Like specifically, like in this, I mean,
you'll hear other instruments, you'll hear somebody come in on something that you really don't get to hear when it's going over a loudspeaker.
Sure. Yeah, and I do, when I rehearse, I invested in a nice pair of AirPod Max headphones from Apple. And so then when I'm rehearsing a song at the house, it has the noise cancellation. I pop them on, I cut everything out, and it really reflects every frequency a lot better. Wow. So I can, if I want to learn the bass line to something, sometimes I fill in on bass, like then I can really hear it. And when you're playing it over a radio, it's hard to hear like the intricate bass parts or things like that. So I totally agree. Yeah, invest in a nice pair of headphones, you know, to do that kind of thing. Yeah.
And take the time to listen closely if you really want to find out what's going on.
And a lot of that time is when I realized, oh, the rhythm guitar is not playing during this band song. Like it's not in this part at least, or it might be doing more inflections in different areas and not just strumming away the whole time. So it's nice to hear those little things too. So yeah, that's how I kind of take the approach to it.
My experience though is there can be a little work to that. I was working on a couple of different songs and I actually sat down and said, okay, the rhythm cuts out here, the bass picks up, the drum picks up, the drum drop. You know, I've got these notes. Just sort of, okay, this is how this is fashioned.
Well, you're charting the song right there. I mean, you're basically that's probably what they were doing in the studio when they did it. Like, we're going to intro with this, then this is going to come in, and they do so much of the grace parts in between the lyrics, especially in a country song. Is like when there's a pause in the lyrics, that's when you hear a piano trill or something, and then the lyrics continue. You know, but that instrument isn't there the whole time, and they're crafting around the whole thing. So yeah, you're listening to it probably the way I'm listening to it. I like picking those parts out.
Yeah, it sounds like we do a lot of that. But I also want to be clear for anybody who's watching this is, you know, not to drive yourself crazy with trying to figure out all these parts. You get up and do it, and then work it out. You'll get it. You'll get there.
Well, you talked in previous episodes about the way you're relating to a song and having like a little bit of anxiety in playing something, and that's just, if you can find a song that's speaking to you and then translate it your own way. If you know, we're not going to be able to duplicate a whole band on an acoustic guitar, but how much can we break it down and make it relatable to what we're doing? So that's the game. And that's the cool part too, right? Everybody at open mic does it different. One guy will play it totally different than another guy will. And I'll hear you play something, like, I never thought to play it like that or whatever, you know. That's kind of the fun of it to me.
And sometimes there's something to learn from that, and sometimes there isn't.
Sometimes you throw them in the garbage. Like, that didn't work out.
No, that doesn't work. So, anything you particularly like about playing gigs? You've done a lot of it.
Now I really feel So over the last 2 years, since I picked up bus driving during the day, cut the gigs back, now it's a lot more fun to go to a gig. When it was like full-time job and you're relying on it, that got to be tiresome. It got to be, you're just in the trenches the whole time doing it. It's like some days you would just be like, I really don't feel like playing a gig today, you know? So now I enjoy going to the gig, but then I also enjoy the process again of learning new songs and getting ready for a new show, like or with different musicians doing something like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of rediscovered that.
What's the longest gig you've ever played? I mean, I've heard people playing 4 hours, and that seems like, you know, you have to spray me off the floor. And that's
Used to have some, so, well, that's interesting too. I was kind of thinking about that the other day. So now, ever since COVID, 3 hours seems to be kind of the new norm. And thank goodness, because I thought a 4 hour gig is one guy on acoustic playing 4 hours. That's like, 45, 50 songs. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
Who would listen? That'd be like listening to 4 albums in a row.
And that's all Casey Marsh ever seems to do. Is that
Yeah, 4 hour gig.
Yeah.
And I still have those 4 hour gigs, but I try to do the 3 hours.
Yeah.
Longest gig I ever played, this is a funny story. I played on a boat down in Fells Point on Cinco de Mayo, and it was on a Tuesday though. And they said, we want to do music all day. Me and my percussionist, it'll be like 8 hours, 12 to 8. We're going to take 1 hour boat tours of the harbor, and you play music while they're on the tour. But it was a Tuesday afternoon. 2 people came out the entire day. They paid us a ton of money to do this. Nobody took a boat tour the whole day, except 2 of our friends that we knew. They came on the boat for 6 o'clock or something. So we got paid for the whole day. That was the longest gig I did. Hardly played a song. I played a couple songs while they were there. That was it. So that was a weird story.
But you can't count on that.
No, that doesn't happen every day. Yeah.
Whenever I think though of a long gig like 3 hours or 4 hours, my teacher said, well, it's not all this straight through. Is that true? I mean, you do like 45, 50 minutes, take a break.
Yeah, what do you do like on a 3 hour gig?
Well, I haven't really had enough to put something together about that. I prefer to take like 15 minutes every hour, but I don't know what places require.
So, and that's interesting too. So like it used to be, I think the 4 hour acoustic gig originated from bands in the 90s and 2000s that would play like a 4 hour gig from like 9 to 1. And back then I think it was like 3 1 hour sets with 2 half-hour breaks. And that would be, so you're really playing 3 hours of music in that 4 hour gig, but that would be like 15 minutes an hour.
Yeah.
But I think when I do the 3 hour gig, I don't want to take 15 minutes an hour. That seems like too much. So
I wondered about that.
Because that's like 45 minutes of breaks in a 3 hour gig. That's like, so I know another guy that does an hour and a half, takes about a half hour, and then does an hour set.
Okay.
And I like doing an hour. I take about 15 minutes to 15 to 20, do 45 minutes, then another 15 to 20, and another 45 minutes. Got it, So I feel like the 45, I don't want to do a set that's much shorter than 45 minutes. 30 is like the shortest. Gets a little weird if you go up there for 20 minutes and play. I mean, it's like I just got up here, I played 3 songs and I'm done.
Okay. I'm going to take a break for a moment.
Sure.
I want to check the sound, so